Active Deterrence, White Light, and Audio Warnings. We're going to discuss a little bit today our active deterrence features on our cameras, such as the Warrior 8.0. Now I've got my NVR over here. We're going to go into the main setup pages. We're going to talk a little bit more about this. So we're going to go to Camera and then Image. We're going to use our select camera to pick the camera that we want. In our case, it's D21, so my Warrior 8 version 3. Now when you get this camera, it's typically going to be on a dual light mode. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that. Smart illumination is going to be all the settings you see below this, so it can be completely disabled. But illumination mode, dual light. So let's discuss this a little. So white light mode, infrared mode, and dual light. So infrared mode, that's going to be what you're used to with most security cameras. Once it gets dark enough outside or dark enough in the room, the camera is going to kick on the infrared light. Camera will go to a black and white mode until it's bright enough again in the morning. It will turn off the infrared, camera will go back to full color. So that's pretty much industry standard up to this point. With white light, you're basically replacing the infrared with a white light. Camera will stay in full color. When it gets dark enough, the white light kicks on, stays on the entire night. It will shut back off once the camera senses enough light to shut that mode back off. So morning time, white light will turn off. Dual light, this is what we want if we want to set up our active deterrence features. So we're going to leave it here. Under this mode, it's going to act like it normally would on infrared mode. Once it gets dark enough, the infrared light will kick on. You'll get your black and white image for the duration of the night. We're going to leave this how it is. We're going to go over to activate our deterrence next. So once we've got this set to dual light, we're going to go over to our smart features here. Now we're going to have to use our camera drop down to pick the one that we want first. So D21 in my case. Once you've selected your camera, it's going to give you any available smart options that can be activated. You can use these active deterrence features through several of these. So depending on which one you decide to use. I'm going to use intrusion detection in this case. So I just want to make sure that that's active with the check. And then click the gear to get into the further settings here. So once we're on the screen, we got a couple of options available. So I've already got a box drawn, but if we need to draw a box, we can go ahead and click draw area. We're just going to click and drag, click again and drag, click again and drag, and then click and release on end in my box. Finish drawing. Now once we've got that set, we've got some options for the box itself. So time threshold in seconds, that's how long in seconds something must be in that box before it triggers. Sensitivity, that's just a general sensitivity of the box lines. Percentage, this is how much of a percentage of the box must be filled before it triggers. So if I set this to 50, 50% of this box would have to be filled before it triggered. I've also got some filter options for vehicles and non-motor vehicles. High, medium, and low priority. And now that we've got all this set, we're going to be able to tell it what happens when our box gets triggered. So we're going to come over to trigger actions. This is where our active deterrence features will be. Now in our case for D21, I'm going to tell the system to record. So I'm going to come down to D21, tell it to record when this happens. And then over here on the right, you've got your alarm sound and alarm light options. So if you want a sound from your camera, we're going to activate that. Click the gear. Now there's a lot happening here, but basically it lets you bracket out times when this is available. If you want it 24 hours a day, you just come to your first line, 0000 for the start time, then 23:59 for the end time. So that's just going to run the entire day. You're going to use your audio drop down to pick the audio message you want. So we have several to pick from here. And then you have your play count. That's how many times this message is going to repeat before it stops. So I've got that set. I'm going to push that out to all other days of the week and hit OK. Now that's just going to take my 24-hour schedule and copy it across all days. For our alarm light, we just want to activate that. Click the gear. Same kind of setup here. We get less options, although we're going to be able to set our blink time in seconds. So you can go up to 60 seconds as low as 5. And then we're going to do the same thing here. If we just want it 24 hours a day for this setting to be active, we're going to do 0000 23:59. And then we can copy that to all other days. So in this scenario, camera's operating like normal. And if it's evening or nighttime, someone walks into this box and it triggers, my white light's going to come on. Camera will go to full color mode, trigger my audio warning message. Once that detection event is ended, all that will shut back off and then it will return to its full infrared mode. So this kind of works similarly on our other features. So if we close this out, we go back to cross-line detection. If we decide to use this, we're able to draw a line and we're going to get similar options under trigger actions. So although we're using a different type of trigger, we still have our alarm sound and our alarm light that we can activate for it.